And I'm going to pass it over to Natalie. Natalie, you could go ahead whenever you're ready.
Hi, thanks, Sean, and thanks everyone for coming. Just let me get started here by sharing my screen. This will work a little bit better this time than it did before. I'll do it this way. And then it wants to do it the same way as it did before. My apologies. There we go. Okay. Anyone wants to give me just a quick thumbs up so that you can see the slides in front of you?
Yeah, I'm able to see them.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. So, hi, I'm Natalie. My name is Natalie McClellan, and I am a resume writer. Yes, that is a career. A lot of people are surprised by that, and it's actually remarkably in demand. But I specialize in emergency services and in military transition resumes. And I've been doing that now since 2009. So I've won multiple awards across Canada and nominated for some international ones. I've got various certifications. I work as an interview coach as well as a career change strategist, just helping people make choices and figure out where they're going to go next. So yeah, I kind of just said this all about me. But I am the owner of Virtual Resumes, which is a resume company that specifically works with emergency services. So firefighters and police and paramedics. I started writing for Virtual Resumes in 2011. And then in 2015, I actually bought the company when the previous owner was looking to transition herself. She wanted to get into something new. So I've been there as the owner since 2015. And I also had already started my own company, Best Foot Forward. So right now I'm running two different companies. But yes, certified professional resume writer. And I'm telling you all this about the awards and etc., not to boast, but just to say, this is who I am and this is why I know what I'm talking about. I'm constantly studying, I'm constantly recertifying and learning new things about a resume. There's somebody who knows the job that they're hiring for well. They may have done it before themselves. They have an interest in what makes each applicant unique. They're focusing on the results that you're showing, the value you're showing in your resume. And what they want you to provide them in your resume is, a marketing style and presentation, a nice look, a nice format, something that attracts them. They want an easy to read layout, and they're really looking for quantifiable results. They want to they have the knowledge essentially to compare clients and to understand your experience and to make interpretations and all those wonderful things that we wish people would do. However, they're very rarely the first person to see the resume, and this is where applicants can run into problems. So we'll look quickly at the gatekeepers. Gatekeepers, as I said, they can be your admin assistant, your office manager, your HR coordinator, summer intern, anyone who is not the decision maker and not involved in the interviewing process, who's handed a stack of resumes and said, please sort through these. So when you're writing your resume and thinking about this audience, you want to think about the fact that these people have limited time. They have limited understanding of the material. They're going through your experience in customer service. Make sure that you're putting that in there. So it might be in the cover letter that you make sure that you specifically say, I have 8 years of experience in customer service, or more than 5 years experience in customer service. So you want to specifically respond to what they're asking for. And that's really what your keywords would be. You can use, there are some tools you can use to help sort of identify keywords. If you've seen word clouds before, it used to be a huge thing when social media first started, but scanning a document and making a graphic representation of all the words in that document, and the ones that appear the most are bigger. So you can go to a website like wordclouds.com and just copy and paste a job description into it and see what words pop out as being repeated over and over and over. And if you get things like managed, supervised, trained, then those are going to be keywords, and you want to show that you've done them. Hard skills often pop up. So things like the training that you may have done, pre-service firefighter training, NFPA, firefighter 1 and 2, will be repeated over and over from one job description to the next. And that's the kind of keyword that you want to make sure you have in there. So again, as the note below, so if you're focusing, as you should be in your applications for each firefighter, for each fire department, you're already likely including the keywords that you need. You just might need to look at, are you including all of them? Is there something that you're ignoring? Is there something that you just not pickier than newer systems have that ability to read different things and to find different information? But some of the key things to avoid when you're preparing a resume that's probably going into an ATS system is avoiding graphics. Some simple imagery might be okay as long as there's no text in the graphic. If you go into Paint, because I don't know a lot about graphics, so I create them in Paint. But if you go into Paint and you create some sort of graphic, but then you put your top qualification into the image, but not into the text of the resume, the ATS system can't read the text in the image. It's an image, it just sees picture and it ignores it. So make sure that you're very careful with graphics. And for much older ATS systems, which is a possibility, any sort of graphic, whether it's simple or not, can just gum things up. So you want to make sure you know what you're doing with graphics, and if you don't, just ignore them. You want to use a simple one-column format. So you don't want to use tables. Don't list skills in tables. Some people list their entire resume in a table because it helps them to space it and to organize it. Avoid tables, avoid text boxes. A lot of ATS can't read text within that. I'm just going to check. I've got to use chats coming up. Oh. If you had a table to organize your points and then use hide borders, will this still be an issue? Yes. Because it's not the borders that make it hard to read. What about columns? Is it the same as tables? Yes and no. You can use columns, and I use them a lot. I'm going to go back into that other document to show you where. Here, yes. So here I've used columns to do these 6 key qualifications after my opening paragraph. The difference here is all of my columns are the same length, for one, but none of them run into a second line, because then this way, when the ATS takes it and reads from one end to the other, it doesn't get jumbled up. It does when I do that. But ATS is going to read pre-service firefighter training, NFPA certified emergency medical responder, and then in brackets EMR. And then it's going to go to experience in dangerous work environment. And then it's going to go to dedicated to continuous learning. So if one of these bullets was longer than the other and bled onto another line, all of that would be out of order, and then the ATS wouldn't be reading it. You can do the same in a table, except that many, especially older ATSs, just can't read a table no matter what you do. So columns they can read because it's part of the main document. But again, this is just another way that you can stick some more keywords in at the front. You can't just get away with throwing keywords in that aren't backed up later in the document. But here we've got an opening paragraph and a list of skills, and it just allowed me to reuse those keywords and to phrase them slightly different. Even here, you can see I didn't, in the last resume, I said DZ licensure. Here I said Class 2 license with a Z air brake endorsement. You're going to find various ways to say it to make sure that it's getting picked up, just in case, as I said, ATSs are limited by how they're programmed. So if I, as the HR manager, larger font for headings, consistent spacing, I mean, you're kind of, the one thing that you're actually a bit lucky with fire and police and a lot of these industries is that you're not getting graded on whether you put graphics or fancy design into your resume. They actually want it to be simple. So don't overthink that. Make it organized and attractive, but you don't need a format. Like every example that I've showed today was just typing into Word and then going back when it was done, applying the same kind of format to each heading, folding the job title, that kind of thing. Does that help?
Yeah, that does help. Sorry. It's just, I noticed
Okay.
mine when I was going over mine, I do see automatically it had like those blue lines and stuff to separate things. So it's I'm gonna have to go back and edit all of that. So this has been really helpful for me because it's
Yeah.
being able to see how the ATS system works and how it's gonna rework my resume as well.
If you need any advice, if you want to send me anything to look at, I offer free consults as well. So
Okay, perfect. I really appreciate that.
have a great night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Okay, Natalie, that's great. Well, thanks again very much, and I'm sure we'll be in touch in the near future.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a good night, Natalie. Bye now.